Before anything else, I want to say that The Bunker is the best looking full motion video game I've ever seen. Yeah, I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but I mean it. This brand new action thriller from Wales Interactive gives the genre an extra layer of polish you normally don't expect from FMV. It never once dips into the B-rate corniness usually associated with these types of games, and ends up looking like a slickly produced indie film. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves just yet. The Bunker is a point-and-click adventure game where you play John, the last survivor of what was supposed to be a protective bunker. Born during a nuclear apocalypse, John has lived his entire life in the bunker. He's a bit of a mama's boy, constantly curious and racked with anxiety. He spent 30 years underground, abiding by a strict routine, hoping one day he'd be able to leave and breathe fresh air for the first time. John's optimism is put to the test the week his mother dies. First, he loses his one and only friend in the world, and then his routine gets messed up and the all-important air filtration system malfunctions. This sends our reluctant hero on a journey through the deepest, darkest recesses of the bunker, forcing him to finally confront the awful things that happen down there. A lot of the story is told through flashbacks, giving us hints of what the bunker was like when there were still people around. This allows the cast a chance to shine, giving us strong performances throughout the harrowing story. The standouts include Sarah Green, who starred opposite Bradley Cooper in Burnt, and popular Game of Thrones extra Graham Fox. It's a more than capable cast that also includes Adam Brown in the lead role, an actor best known for starring in all three of Peter Jackson's recent Hobbit films. Like a lot of full-motion video games, you don't have a lot of control over the action. When we boil down the mechanics, this is nothing more than a simple point-and-click adventure game. Most of the game involves moving the cursor around the screen looking for something to interact with. Occasionally, you'll need to pull a lever or mash on a button to complete a QuickTime event. But you're mostly just wandering around the bunker looking for the items you need to complete a series of simple puzzles. The simplicity of the gameplay will frustrate some gamers. There really isn't much to do beyond scouring the screen for things to interact with and occasionally picking up important objects. It's also a lot more linear than other recent graphic adventure titles, especially those coming from Telltale. There are a few choices for the player to make, but nothing that would change the outcome in any meaningful way. That is, until the last choice, which allows you to pick one of two possible endings. I wouldn't have minded the simple gameplay as much if it was better implemented on home consoles. I played through the PlayStation 4 version, which forces players to use the left analog stick like a computer mouse. There are a lot of QuickTime events that probably should have been mapped to the face buttons, but instead were forced to move the slow cursor around the screen. I have to imagine that this probably works a lot better when you're playing on a computer with a mouse. The lackluster gameplay mechanics are especially disappointing when you consider how good the rest of the package is. The Bunker tells a truly compelling story that is expertly shot and full of standout performances. It's also wonderfully paced, which is not something you can say about a lot of full-motion video games. The story is constantly moving, and there are a lot of fun twists and turns along the way. I couldn't wait to see where it was all headed, and I wasn't disappointed when I got there. As a full-motion video game, The Bunker excels in almost every way. It looks incredible, and the acting never veers into campiness. It's a thrilling experience with a satisfying conclusion, but as an adventure game, The Bunker is a bit lacking. The puzzles are overly simplistic, the journey is too linear, and the interface doesn't translate well on consoles. It's a story worth discovering, even if the gameplay mechanics aren't quite up to the same standard. Hey, thanks for watching our review. This is going to be an incredibly busy week filled with reviews of everything from Filthy Lucre to Wheels of Aurelia to Rive. I'm also going to be starting work on a big holiday feature, as well as a video where we look at what critics thought of old Simpsons games. I have a lot to promote here, but no time left, so I recommend you click the subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.